exit.
Welcome all to yet another look at Mirror's Edge, this time on a budget. Yes, a budget PC. Can Faith deliver something special on a 750 Ti or an R270 powered by an FX 8350, or are we looking at some sacrifices to reach that hallowed 60 FPS? Well, let's find out. The first thing is obviously the option for tweaking the visual niceties in the game. FOV is included, which is on both console releases, but here we get the additional benefit of PC tweaks. Unless of course you're running an Nvidia 750 Ti machine, which means you can't touch them at all outside of the presets. That's right, every time I tried to amend any of the features outside of what's set from the base, the game simply crashed. This happened time and time again, no matter how many times I tried and restarted the game. Now, if this does happen to you, as you can see on screen, you just need to move or delete the profile file located in the My Documents folder under Settings. You can see an example on screen now. Simply rename this or delete it, and then you can restore the game, reload it on the default settings, which is always auto, and that gets you back into the game. Now, over and above this issue, which is a bit of a pain, that means all I could test on the 750 Ti was the presets, which range from low, medium, high, ultra, and the new hyper mode. Now, I'm not too sure what this really adds to the game, other than the naming, which I think they should have gone for extreme mode. Anyway, over and above that, I think it just extends the view range and obviously adds some extra features for textures and possibly lighting on top of that, but I'll have to look at it in detail on my 970 view. Overall though, just like the GPU override option, I advise you leave this off. They're not really an option at all on both of these machines. It just brings the game way below 30. So leave it at the settings of between low, medium and high, and that's what we're going to look at here. Just for clarity, all versions tested here are version 1.02, so this is the latest patches, and the AMD card and driver, and this is on the identical machine. Had no issues with amending and tweaking all of the graphical options outside of the presets, so if you do want to do that on an AMD machine, you can give it a try. You can see that at low and 1080, the 750 Ti hand in a pretty solid 60 FPS, aside the dips which you get in all versions. But this is lacking quite a lot of features from the full game. Consoles look to be running a combination of high and medium, with most of the settings on high. Things like lighting, screen space reflection, ambient occlusion and textures are all pared back, but I'll cover this in more detail with my head-to-head. Also, the patch for 102 seems to improve the Xbox One version even more, including a dynamic resolution now, but I haven't had a chance to test that fully yet, but I will update you shortly. This means bumping up to medium, you can see the game doesn't touch 60 at all, hovering around the 45s and even dipping into the 30s at points. Now, it doesn't make a huge difference, and it gives you the option, and it obviously is smoother than 30, but it's far from a locked 60, which means you have to dip the resolution, and going up to high means you're dropping into the 30s pretty much all the time, and that's where it should really stay. So the only option left on both of these machines is to hit the scaling, which allows you to double it or bring it down below the 100%, which is what we're looking at here, and dropping the resolution down on the 750 Ti by 80%, and keeping the level at high still isn't quite enough to get to the performance levels of the consoles, but it's pretty close. You can leave it at that level or drop it down to 70%, which gives you a similar resolution to what we see on the PS4's base. This works out with 80% being 1728 by 972 and 70% being 1632 by 918. Now, the other machine, the 7870 or the R270, can actually reach around 90% at high, which gives you a higher resolution than the base PS4 one. Just dipping the motion blur back will get you a level very similar to what you see on Xbox One and PS4. Other sacrifices can be made, but you want to be running around medium and high to get that level. The only thing you cannot improve, no matter what you do, is shadows. As you can see here, with Faith looking like she belongs on an Atari system. But all humour aside, you obviously can improve this on better machines, and the consoles do have better shadows than this, but overall the game does perform very well on both the 750 Ti and the R270. You can run the game at 60 FPS at low, or as you can see on screen, the compromises can be made to give you a pretty decent level at high, so long as you use the resolution scaling at the cost of pixel clarity. Now, one of the things with the game is it is quite CPU intensive. This is running on an 8350, and as you can see on screen with the metrics, it generally uses every single core available and quite extensively. So some of the issues in the game, including the streaming issues, which sees up to 399 millisecond hangs on the PC version, the longest I've tested on consoles was 99,
meaning that some of the dips and issues across all versions are CPU bound, in addition to hard drive I/O bandwidth issues obviously. But overall, as you can see with the example on screen, the R270 is the better of the two, but not by a drastic amount, and it delivers a performance very similar to what we see on console. This is the most strenuous section at the opening parts of the game, and it does give both machines and all systems a bit of a stress test. It's the worst point you'll see during play, aside these longer dips, which I've already mentioned.
And that about wraps up my time here, and ultimately the game has improved since its original beta release,
And the improvements in the retail version are welcome and certainly help the performance and presentation overall. Now, you had to keep the faith to see if that was delivered or not. Yeah, I know, sorry bad, but there you go. I could have played Bon Jovi, that would have been even worse really, now wouldn't it? I'll be back very soon with a detailed head-to-head on console and PC to see how they fare. And also, I would love to hear your feedback and thoughts as always below, and I'll reply appropriately. You guys and girls take care, and I'll see you very soon on the next one.